Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In a move that is sending shockwaves through global power corridors, Iran and Russia have just signed a historic 20-year strategic alliance, an agreement that could reshape the balance of power across the Middle East, Central Asia, and beyond. What makes this deal so significant isn't just its duration, but what it represents: the solidification of a new world order, one that openly challenges Western dominance and American influence across the globe. For years, both Tehran and Moscow have found themselves cornered by U.S. sanctions, economic pressure, and diplomatic isolation. But now, they are joining hands in what appears to be one of the most ambitious geopolitical partnerships of the decade. Reports suggest that the deal includes deep cooperation in energy, defense, trade, and advanced military technology, a partnership that could change the future of global alliances. This new 20-year pact goes far beyond symbolic friendship. Iran will gain access to Russia's advanced weapons systems, military training programs, and cutting-edge defense technologies, including potential collaborations on drones, air defense, and even hypersonic missile systems. In return, Russia gains a steadfast ally in the Middle East, an energy powerhouse that sits on one of the most strategic pieces of geography on Earth. Together, they form a corridor of influence stretching from the Caspian Sea to the Persian Gulf, and from Syria to the Caucasus, a direct counterweight to the Western-led alliance system. But this alliance didn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of shifting alliances, growing distrust in Washington, and the shared experiences of both nations being targeted by sanctions. Moscow has long viewed Iran as a vital partner in countering NATO expansion and U.S. military presence in the Middle East. Iran, on the other hand, sees Russia as both a protector in the UN Security Council and a supplier of critical military technologies that Western powers have long denied it. The timing of this deal is equally telling. As the war in Ukraine drags on and the Middle East remains unstable, Russia is looking to secure reliable partners that can help it bypass economic restrictions and maintain its global reach. Iran, already under heavy Western sanctions, sees a golden opportunity to expand its oil exports through Russian channels, and even integrate its energy networks with Moscow's regional projects. But perhaps the most alarming part for the West is the military clause in this agreement. According to regional sources, the alliance includes a framework for mutual defense cooperation, meaning that in the event of external aggression, both nations could support each other militarily. While not an official defense pact like NATO, it sends a clear message to Washington, Tel Aviv, and Brussels. The days of isolated, sanctioned nations bowing under Western pressure are over. Behind closed doors, Iranian and Russian negotiators are believed to have discussed joint naval exercises in the Persian Gulf, shared intelligence operations, and even coordination on cyber defense capabilities. Both nations have faced years of cyber warfare from Western intelligence agencies, and both have invested heavily in developing their own digital arsenals. A combined cyber command could significantly alter the balance in the ongoing digital Cold War. On the energy front, the cooperation is massive. Russia and Iran together hold nearly 1/3 of the world's natural gas reserves. By coordinating their exports, pricing, and pipeline routes, they could drastically influence the global energy market. Russia has already supported Iran's bid to join the BRICS economic bloc, and this new alliance strengthens the vision of an alternative global economic system, one based on regional independence, not Western oversight. Meanwhile, in Washington and European capitals, alarm bells are ringing. U.S. intelligence officials have labeled the deal a strategic nightmare, warning that the combined influence of Russia and Iran could destabilize the Middle East and weaken Western leverage in future negotiations. Israel, too, is watching nervously. A closer Iran-Russia partnership could mean greater military backing for Hezbollah in Lebanon and more sophisticated weapons flowing into Syria. For Tel Aviv, this could translate into new threats on multiple fronts. Moscow, however, insists the alliance is peaceful and purely strategic. Russian officials argue that it's designed to promote multipolarity, a world where no single nation dictates global rules. But the truth is, this agreement gives both nations something they've desperately wanted for years: legitimacy, strength, and leverage. In Tehran, celebrations are quiet but deeply symbolic. Iranian state media is portraying the agreement as a victory over decades of Western isolation, a sign that the Islamic Republic is no longer standing alone. For many Iranians weary of economic struggles and international pressure, this alliance with Russia represents hope. Hope for economic relief, technological advancement, and greater global recognition. On the streets of Moscow, the sentiment is similar. Russian commentators say this alliance marks a new chapter in global politics. With China, Iran, and Russia now moving closer together under the BRICS umbrella, the world is witnessing a clear fracture between East and West, a realignment that could define the coming decades. This deal also holds deep implications for the ongoing conflicts across the Middle East. In Syria, both nations already cooperate to support Bashar al-Assad's government. In Iraq, their influence grows as U.S. troops prepare partial withdrawals. And in Yemen, the Houthi movement could benefit indirectly from increased Iranian confidence, backed by Russian diplomatic cover. The ripple effects of this alliance could reach every conflict zone in the region. Beyond the military and political spheres, there's also an economic angle that can't be ignored. Russia and Iran have agreed to trade in their national currencies, bypassing the U.S. dollar altogether. This strikes at the very core of Western financial power. Both countries are now pushing for a global payment system independent of SWIFT, one that could include China and other BRICS members. If successful, this could signal the slow but steady erosion of the dollar's dominance in global trade. For the United States, this alliance presents a dilemma. Aggressive sanctions and diplomatic isolation have only pushed Iran and Russia closer together. Efforts to weaken one have strengthened the other, and now with this 20-year deal, Washington may be forced to rethink its Middle East strategy entirely. The question now is whether the U.S. will double down on pressure or seek new diplomatic engagement to prevent a larger geopolitical realignment. Meanwhile, analysts warn that this new alliance could embolden both nations to take bolder actions. Russia may expand its influence further into the Persian Gulf, while Iran could push more aggressively against U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. With both countries sharing intelligence and coordinating strategy, the world could see a new kind of proxy war emerge, one that pits this Eastern alliance against Western-backed coalitions. But perhaps the biggest shift lies in perception. For decades, the West viewed Iran and Russia as isolated, unstable, and internally divided. Now they're presenting themselves as resilient, independent powers capable of building their own global networks. And as economic partnerships with China, India, and even some African nations deepen, the message becomes clear. A new geopolitical era is dawning. This 20-year alliance isn't just about survival, it's about ambition. It's a signal that Iran and Russia are not merely reacting to Western policies, but actively shaping an alternative world order. And whether the West likes it or not, that world is taking form, slowly, steadily, and powerfully. In the end, the Iran-Russia Pact may be remembered as one of the most significant turning points of this century, a moment when global power began to truly shift from West to East. The next 2 decades will test the strength of this alliance, but one thing is certain: the old world order will never be the same again. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.